I will go to give you an understanding of Tantra as psychotherapy. Those who have read my researches, they know that for last 40 years, not 40 years, 30 years, after my practices were complete and I became a free holy scoundrel called an Avadhut. In Indian terms, Avadhut is also a calling a name. Bengali mothers shout at their kids, those who become too unruly, as an Avadhut. So Avadhut is always not pronounced with a lot of honor. It is also pronounced with a lot of shame. Because Avadhutas do not follow any norm. They are immoral people. And so if you want to know that the institution of Tantra, how it came, how Tantra was institutionalized, how it grew, how its tantric libraries grew, where from Tantra came, you have to know Nagarjuna. Lord Nagarjuna was around 2nd century BC to 2nd century AD, a big time period that has not been yet decided his time, but it's believed he lived for more than 300 years. And those who work and do research on mysticism, they have come across Nagarjuna even in Christian researchers. Christ's end in India. Christ came to India, there is a theory. And this is like a heritage or oral tradition. Teaching about Christ is one of the oldest Nath yogis and a disciple of Nagarjuna. In Samye monastery, there is a Tibetan book which was sometime translated into Tibetan from a Sanskrit text, and we do not know at the Sanskrit text today, but it is very thick, very big volumes, 2 volumes. 2 texts are there on life of Christ in India. Yogananda Paramahamsa, in his book Autobiography of Yogi, has mentioned about this text and mentioned about Lord Christ in the lineage. He's called Ishayanath. In Indian traditional Nath Yoga heritage and order, Christ is one of the great enlightened beings in the same lineage. It's astounding. There were researchers who worked with this research with me. So Nagarjuna wrote a book called Guhya Samaja, Guhya Samaja. Guhya means secret. Samaja means secret society. So the first tantric text, why I'm saying fast, till now, in the hardcore scholastic world, traditional scholastic world of the Tantra as an institution, among Buddhists and Hindus all, those who are deeper researchers and authentic authorities of Tantra, they agree that prior to Nagarjuna, yes, Christ was in the place of Hemis monastery. He stayed there in Ladakh. There is a story about it. When oral teaching said when Shambhunath made or pronounced the land in future will come up as Hemisgompa, he offered Hemisgompa as a mandala to Christ who attained his nirvana there. So Christ was in the Himalayas. Such stories are there. So Nagarjuna's first text, prior to that, there are ways of asserting the aging and dating of old text. Tibetans call Pecha, we call Shastra in Sanskrit. How to recognize it? That is a very fine training to recover texts. And in my life, one of my professions is to recover texts. Time to time, hired by monastic traditions and for scholars who are studying in Tantra, Yoga, and Buddhism, my researchers assert those. So in those, Buddha spoke of Tantra, but in time of Buddha, till time of Nagarjuna, the texts which are acclaimed in the name of Buddha, like this is Buddha's own teaching, Manjushri Mula Kalpa. But they are all Agama text. There's a difference between Tantra and Agama. Agama is the oldest school that came from Adinatha, Rishabhnatha till Buddha. And from Buddha, Agama started getting into oral teachings of Tantra. It is said Lord Buddha moved his wheel of Dharma third time as the wheel of Tantra in Srilakuta. Srilakuta is today a holy mountain in Andhra Pradesh. And there is that cave called Nagarjuna Kanda in the way, which is Nagarjuna waterfalls. And behind the waterfalls is a cave where from Buddha's foremost disciple, Subhuti's diary was found in a time scroll hidden in that cave by Nagarjuna, who claimed himself to be the incarnation of Subhuti. Many a times you will see in Thailand and others, they make statue of Buddha sitting on a naga seat or a serpent seat. It is a serpent on which Lord Buddha is sitting, and there is a serpent hood above his head. This serpent is the iconography of Muchalinda, a tribal serpent yogi who was Buddha's friend, philosopher, guide, disciple. So Pragyaparamita Ashtasahasrika, the greatest book of Mahayana, the Bible of Mahayana, the great book of highest wisdom, very difficult to read, was given 2 times by Lord Buddha to his disciples. He sang simple songs and metaphors to the theris or his nuns or yoginis, and that is called Therigatha Pragyaparamita. The chapterization of the text is identical to the chapterization of the prose text, 8,000 verses of Pragyaparamita, but in this 8,000 slokas of Pragyaparamita is made for men. It's more of a prose literature rather than poetry. This is an astounding thing that many idiotic Buddhists believe that Buddha has not permitted enlightenment to the woman. It's their ignorance, it's their misinterpretation of his teachings. In this text, Buddha is continuously called personified pragya or wisdom as the mother of all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. If Buddha had any such sense that a woman cannot enlighten or should not enlighten, a woman, a lesser practitioner, why Buddha will personify and magnify his sense of wisdom as the deity Tara. This wisdom is Severus and she's Tara. So what is the wisdom? The wisdom arising from the experience of perpetual samadhis. And in this Astasahasrika Pragyaparamita, 84 stages of samadhis has been very metaphorically mentioned. Every time Buddha is speaking, is coming out of a samadhi. So these 84 samadhis, one after another, has been set up like a garland of teachings. So it is like Buddha going through innumerable samadhis, even as a Buddha. And what words are coming out as expression of his experience he is saying. And there, the main person with whom Buddha is talking, the entire book, is Subhuti. Subhuti is the first and foremost of all bodhisattvas. He was a tribal king whose sister was Sujata, and Sujata later has got deified as a form of Tara, as Green Tara or Janguli, or the forest goddess, Forest Tara, who was spiritual feminine end of Lord Buddha. And she was Subhuti's sister. So these practices are kept in oral tradition and never written down. But if you read Pragya Paramita Astasahasrika, then you will know it's very difficult reading. So this book, Astasahasrika Pragya Paramita, was given by Nagarjuna in 1st to 2nd century BC as a proof of he was incarnated as Subhuti in time of Lord Buddha. I think I'm clear about this mystic belief of Buddhist tradition. But to Buddhists, it's a science, the science of reincarnation. That a yogi can take reincarnation even in his living time. If you read Shiva Samhita also, you will find this. So Lord Buddha taught Tantra in Srilakuta to Subhuti, Subhuti's sister Sujata, his another disciple, another great bodhisattva called Mahakashyapa, and the king of South India, or the king of that territory of South India at that time, called King Suchanda. So if you read Pragya Paramita, you will understand what is Buddhist psychotherapy in its philosophy. To me, it is truth, but those who will proceed with it, for them, it is philosophy. So Pragya Paramita Astasahasrika mentions the state of Tantra as the state of an irreversible bodhisattva. That a matured bodhisattva who is journeying through many lifetimes into this path will take up the teaching of Tantra. So many people thought when they got the first Tantra Gujja Samadhi and Kala Chakra, that this is also a yana. Tantrayana. Actually, many people have wrongly estimated it as Kalachakrayana. Actually, Kalachakrayana was one of the earliest texts of Tantra made. And astoundingly, this teaching of Buddha is worshipping a deity Kalachakra. And Kalachakra is adorned with all the specifications of the Shaivite Shiva, including there's a story that Shiva has cut off the heads of Brahma because the heads of Brahma are the Vedas. So in Kalachakra deity's hand also, you will see the cut off head of Brahma, the three heads dangling in his hand. Chakra Sambara, He Vajra. These are all forms. In Shaivite Tantra, they will call it forms of the Aghora Shiva. So the Aghora tradition is akin to Vajrapani, Kalachakra, Chakra Sambara, He Vajra, and Samantabhadra. These are the 5 parts of the air element practice. This oral tradition from Buddha came down till Nagarjuna, when Nagarjuna wrote the first book of Tantra, because writing a book is the start of institutionalization. A book is needed to make a house of practice. So Gujja Samaja Tantra is that. Now, about Buddha's great teachings on knowing the mind, called Abhidhamma. Many Buddhist masters have written karikas or commentaries. And this text, Abhidhamma Kosha, is said to be the middle of second volume of the great Buddhist Buddhist literature. And Canonian literature. Why Canonian? Because on these basic sutras, many commentaries with different viewpoints and different researches of newer and newer techniques of yogas have been written throughout Tantra. So Tantra is the final Abhidhamma, or knowing the mind. So the Guru does this psychotherapy on the disciple to clean up all wrong conditioning. Wrong conditioning is understood as artificial knowledge. You have already sent to me, Banibrata. I'm going through the Sanskrit text of Ashtasastika Prajnaparamita. Thank you. It's in my collection already. You have sent that to me. So this text was in Sanskrit. This is from where Sanskrit Buddhism started. Prior to that, scholars call pre-Nagarjuna era as Pali Buddhism. Means all the texts written in Pali. From Nagarjuna, texts started getting written in Sanskrit. It's a big difference in Buddhist institutionalization and evolution. Till now, even the Hindu tantrikas or yogis or researchers, even my guru Baba Thakur, known as the Vedanta Guru, sent me to Sikkim to find out the tantric teachings of Nagarjuna, telling me that Gujja Samaj is the first text and Nagarjuna is the first one to propound on Kundalini Yoga. Kundalini Yoga started with Nagarjuna. Baba Thakur said it mystically to me. In my researches, I found it's true. Patanjal of the Ashtanga Yoga and Nagarjuna both were shown as serpents, or their mark is serpent. or a snake, because they were all practitioners of this secret school of yoga, which came from the snake clan. This clan called themselves Nagas or snake clan, serpent clan. In all over South India, if you move, you will see these icons under trees, in villages, like two serpents crossing each other. So if you see them, in between there are flowers. They're showing the chakras arising of the Ida Pingala as two snakes and Kundalini. So total Kriya Yoga was designed as snakes. Try to understand this. This is an iconographic understanding. So in South India, almost every house has a snake altar for pujas of the snake gods and goddesses. When I came to Sikkim, I found that all old houses, even monasteries, have a water body and a snake goddess seat. This was in Bangladesh, in every house almost, called Monosha Than, the seat of Manasa, or the snake goddess, which is nothing but deification of the Kundalini Yoga. Okay? So in that way, Manasa is also a post-Buddhist deity who has been very craftily edited and inputted into the Smarta or the Neo-Vedic culture of the Middle Ages in India. So, Abhidhamma is the text of knowing the mind, of psychology, and the final techniques and methods of psychotherapy is Tantra. That is how a Buddhist yogi looks into it. Because Nirvana will not happen before purification. And what is purification? Kaya Chitta Vak Parisuddhi. What is Kaya Chitta Vak Parisuddhi? Absolutely cleansing of the body, mind, and the spirit. A process through yogas, meditations, and ritualistic discipline. Rituals are always made for disciplines. A system. That is institutionalization of Tantra. So from Nagarjuna onwards, Tantric texts started coming up. Prior to that, no text of Tantra has been yet asserted in the house of researchers and scholars of Tantra. Many people say this text is 5,000 year old, 6,000 year old. No value until and unless they give the proofs. A text has to be carbon particle tested, seen whether the text has a colophon of who rewrote it, because in India it was copying the text by hand. In Tibet and China it was wood block print. So it was in which monastic library? Otherwise, Indian texts are mostly all handwritten. There are many Tibetan handwritten texts also. But very soon, the wood blocks were made by the lamas and they made multiple copies, which is very important in the Tibetan tradition. They published books. But in Indian tradition, for a long time, only handwritten manuscripts were kept. So these handwritten manuscripts are palm leaf manuscripts, then handmade paper pages. There was a cotton paper called tulot kagoj that modern artists also use a lot, which most of the Nepali texts are made in those paper, made from cotton. So texts have to be seen that every time you copy a text, you write down from which text you are copying to keep the authenticity. And there will be signature of 2 to 5 witnesses under whom you are rewriting this copy, from which monastic library you are copying this. That monastic library will keep a seal there. Astoundingly, most of the Buddhist texts we have found, its early pages are all missing. Most, not all. Why? Because when the smarta time came, they rewrote, re-edited these books in Vedic fashion. So if those colophons of the books were present, then people will know which are the oldest texts. Generally, before a book, the first page is the name of the book, the name of the copier, the name of the guru under whom this copy happened, the name of one who corrected the copies, and name of one who has sealed the copy. Under this institute, this public manuscript or this paper manuscript has been preserved or copy given to some person. So one who is copying it for a commentary. So generally, that will become another tradition with a different view maybe of the same text. The text will be present there with the commentary present in it. Thus, in Sanskrit texts, many a times we get the same text in different names. When you read through the names, then you read through the text, then you see that how a text is saying that this is with a commentary. So then you have to find out how much is the original text and how much is the commentary. You need to know the script language of old manuscripts. They have particular icons and sign symbols to make big declarations very short. So from there, you will know which number of copy it is coming from the original text, or this is coming from a copy of a text. So everywhere the original text will be mentioned. In so-called Hindu Tantras, there is not a single text whose author or authority has been mentioned. Not a single text. Shiva Sutra, the text, was going on for a long time in name of Vasugupta. But it is said Vasugupta found it. Now, when is Vasugupta? 5,000 years old. What was Indian civilization 5,000 years ago? That we do not know. It's very old time. It's mythological time. You are questioning it, you will be cursed. This is the Brahminical way of controlling scholastic research. But Buddhist texts are not that. Date, age, all have been mentioned in texts. In Bombay, I think I have forgotten that year, there was a congregation where even Dalai Lama presided, a big seminar. I was also invited, but ultimately I didn't go. A seminar on the aging of the historicity of Adi Shankaracharya. Ultimately, it was found that 4 monasteries are claiming 4 different fictitious times. Somebody is saying BC, somebody is saying AD, somebody is saying prehistoric. Many stories. Even our Nath Sampradaya are full of these fables and stories so much that the historicity is lost. It is a way of mystifying things. My way is to demystify mysticism. I'm teaching you the science of the reality. My gurus have put that burden on me. It's bad to say burden, but what to do? I'm 60-year-old and I feel it's quite a burden. So long I'm talking meaningless things. Why? The structure. If you don't understand the structure, how will you understand my lectures? The structure of the lectures. So then, if an original text has been found without copy, its carbon particle test will give a nearest aging of it. That can be 250 to 500 years haziness in that. But generally, carbon particle texts are like that. Then, it goes for language test. If there is adulteration or alteration of words and sentences or infiltration of literatures into it, that is a vogue in India. So this infiltrations, they saw it as editing. Some scholar is reading it without any experience and thought, oh, this word must not be right. This must be wrong. So they immediately will cut that, and what they have thought nearest to the spelling of that word can be there put it. But now a big work is done on this, that we modern scholars do not agree with this Pathantar or the second version. What we do, that a scholar, when is writing down a book, wherever there's a spelling mistake or grammatical mistake, they will keep that as it is without editing. You cannot edit a holy text. In bracket, you can suggest that what can be the probable nearest word, or what the person who is doing research on it is thinking this word can be. Maybe it is not in his vocabulary. It's not possible to have some 1 lakh Sanskrit words. It's not possible. No. So, through this linguistic study, again, we will put it in the graph of linguistic chart and see whether all lines are following the same grammatical style or not. Is there any new word that is a later period coinage or later period growth of a word or not? It's a very critical thing, but people should know that what is a hagiographical proof. Without that proof, there are many scholars in India and abroad I have come across. They assert a thing without testing this text. The little knowledge, they found one text and asserting it as the only text. Western scholars do it frequently because the ego of the scholars are unbeatable. In India, we used to say, Namanti fall in a briksha, Namanti gunino jana, Shushka kastancha murkhascha, Vidyate natu namyate. That a dry stick breaks, but a live branch of a tree which has many fruits, it bends. So the rigid orthodox breaks, the realizers bend into humility. This is very difficult to find among Western scholars. My Western friends who have and disciples who have worked with Western scholars, they will say that much better than I am saying. They know. So, this purification of body is Hatha Yoga. Purification of mind is Raja Yoga. And purification of the spirit is Kriya Yoga and Raja Yoga. And purification of the spirit is Samrajya Yoga. Samrajya Yoga is the practice of the King of Kings. That is the Niruttara or Anuttara Tantras. So this yoga system developed into a high psychotherapy order. Yoga didn't stay anymore just like a health practice. It's evolution of psychology. There are many participants today here in this discussion, or people have come, those who are my students of self-psychotherapy. Irin talked with you how to cleanse the chakras, how to control your own pulsation, how to control your own mind through control of the neurons and its activities into spine and brain, all over the body. Self-healing. So the entire spiritual journey or moksha or cleansing is a self-healing. This is how Tantra is a very critical, hyper-technical practice of that. If we compare between psychology as a Western subject and psychology as a Buddhist subject, we will find massive differences. Entire West, modern West, has been led into perversion by Freudian theory of psychology. This psychology theories have enabled Westerners to have license of perversion. Because according to Western psychology, there is no ideal psychology. Anything can happen in mind. That is a new form. So every form is a new form. There is no archetype. There is no ideal. There is no concept of a clear mind, of chitta matrata, or the only mindfulness. There's no concept of such. So when the tantric mindfulness and yoga are practiced in the West, in most cases, they become compartmentalized because they carry on their psychological misbalance by entertaining hyper sex, greed, and anger. And then they also practice meditation. They also practice yoga. So it is like a patient whose liver has got cirrhosis, is going to die, is having a lot of medicines, but every day having a bottle of beer, will die soon. So it's not only practice, it needs, like a disease will not go only with the medicine. Exactly like Max said just now, it is like the Catholic theory of sin. Every day you confess and next day you commit it. God is bought because I'm a Christian. Christ is the Son of God, sent by God to as a blotting paper of everybody's karmas and sins. That is the only reason that we are Christians and we respect Christ. We do not follow Christ. Why we will practice Christ? Why we will follow Christ? Then we will become poor. We will have to give up our desires and perversions. We'll carry on what we are doing, but we are the best because only Christians are people chosen by God whose sins are forgiven. Nobody else's sins are forgiven. A time, what came from the church, Lord Jesus Christ also taught the same thing, counseling, psychotherapy to the disciples. So if somebody is in guilt and can confess to a person and that person can show that sufferer how to come out of this guilt, how to erase out the cause of the guilt inside the mind, then it will be a real redemption of sin. But real redemption of sin, who will work out? They themselves had drowned them. I've seen many priests drowned them into desires. So perversion, see the word perversion. Perversion. Version is a view, is a commentary. And per person, a new version. So that in Western psychology, there is not a structure of an ideal human psychology. In Tantra, the ideal human psychology has been shown as the Shiva, the Buddha, and the Jina for men, and Prajna or wisdom as Tara for woman. The archetypal is either Tara or Jina Putri or Jina Shakti or Shakti. In the matter of the woman, there is not much difference because the Shakti is common to both Buddha, Shiva, and Jina. They're the same Shaktis. For men, there are three kinds of archetype. Same. In Shekoteshikotika commentary of Abhidhammakosha, in one by Tilopa, Naropa has written, the great Mahasiddha Naropa has written that the term Shiva, the term Buddha, and the term Jina are epithets of each other. I think it's clear to you the way I am trying to explain. So what is this psychotherapy? Your body is holding a nervous system. According to the yogis' sayings, it is 72,000 nerves and synapses. Nadibindu. Nadabindu yoga. That's 72,000. Actually, this 1,000 is meant by innumerable. There are 72 stages of the nervous system. Details. What are the 72 stages? The 31 and 30, basically 32 and 32, 74 stages in that way of the ganglions along the spine, the two sides of the spine, the two ridges that hold the spine within that muscle is called the autonomous nervous system. So 32 or 31, in some cases 32, in some cases 31, is multiplied into double left and right, that is 72 or 74. 1,000 means innumerable probabilities coming from those nadibindus, sensations and perceptions. So, yoga is to, by feelings, by experience given by the guru, the disciple will learn. Can you put on the fan? The disciple will learn how to purify the body and in what standard. So we have 7 chakras in our body. These 7 chakras are holding a dimension of intercosmic 7 layers. So the 7 layers of cosmos are also found in Vedas, Bhur-Bhuvasva, Mahajana, Tapasatya. But the Vedic Gayatri is applied to only Bhur-Bhuvasva, these 3, which are corresponding to Muladhara, Sadhisthana, Manipura. In your body, there are 7 chakras. These 7 chakras are corresponding to the psychic locus or standards of mind. So Bhuloka is in Muladhara or the perineal gland plexus, which is one nerve coming from the coccyx as a tail nerve and is coiling the perineal gland So by awakening of Kundalini, by the yogas, those who know here, they know. Those who don't know, I'm not going into those details today because those are practical things. The moment you can shake that coil, immediately it will send back its neuro shock or message from the perineum to the head. How to take it step by step is the practice of Kundalini. Once Kundalini is awakened, then joining the autonomous nervous system from the back to the front of the body, as the embryo was created in the same process, it is a more complex channel called Chandali, which is holding your 7 sets of samskaras or your records of activation of these chakras. So the chakras are as stages in the spine, and from there nerves have come into the right and left autonomous system. From there nerves have come to the front and joined in with glands and gone up, 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 up. Thus, it is imagined like a stem with branches flowering. If you see a side cross section of a human body, it will be the branches which are flowering. So you will see sometimes chakras are called flowers, sometimes they are called wheels. So generally wheels are in the spine and the flowers are in the front. Now these plexuses, nerve plexuses, in the spine is the cause, and in the front, in the Chandali Nari, is the effects. So in the Muladhara, the entire record of your physical rest and action is stored. So when Muladhara will get awakened, people can have big sleeps or no sleeps, loose motions, release of toxins. So this is rest and motion, rest and action. In Sadhisthana is sex and creativity. In Muladhara, you see always there is a mental aspect and the physical aspect of emotion, sex and creativity. Then in Naval, Manipura, it is contentment and discontentment. Generally, we connect it with food maximum. If not, why anybody comes to your place, you offer a cup of tea and some food. It's because of that. Connecting emotions with food and drinks. It's one of the oldest human habits and social behavior. Then in Anahata, or the heart plexus, is love and hatred. You will see, you will grow more hatred with a person whom you love rather than you are not concerned with the person. And then in the Vishuddha chakra or thoracic plexus, it is expression and impression, prakasha vimarsha of mind. Then an Agga chakra is will and wish. So wish is mundane and will is spiritual. And then in Sahasrara, they are equated. It's like a triangle. Sahasrara is the apex, and from Agga chakra actually is the apex, one apex. There are 3 apex called the kutas. Agga chakra is the apex, Sahasrara is the apex, Brahmarandha, the tip of the head, is an apex. These are the 3 kutas or 3 mountains. They're called Mandara, Kailasha, Sumeru. They're metaphorized as 3 mountains, one after another. And because it was practiced in Tibet highly, That is why the name Tibet has came from Sanskrit word three bistop or threefold mountains. How the Tethys Sea turned into a mountain. Some theories go by that. Otherwise, in your body are these three mountains, three peaks. So these seven sets of mind, the pure mind is in Sahasrara or corpus callosum. The pineal gland is holding the ego and the realization of the self equally. The self is holding the will and the ego is holding the wish. That means objective self and the subjective self. Throat plexus, Vishuddha, is holding the expression and impression of the ego or the self. Same love and hatred, contentment and discontentment, love and hatred in Anahata, contentment and discontentment in Manipura, sex and creativity in Sadhisthana, rest and motion into Muladhara. These six sets of binaries are the polarization of mind. So by cleansing these chakras, you can cleanse your habits, which are in Tantric or Buddhist term is called karma. And you can also cleanse the samskara or the conditioning already settled down. You can change it. So this changing is up to you. Guru is the doctor and the technician who is teaching you self-healing. So until and unless these three parisuddhis are done or three purifications are done, you will not reach moksha. Because what is moksha? Pure mind. What is pure mind? Mind free from the conditionings of the seven chakras. So that is the Sahasrara mind that has been called the only mind. Kaivalya, Kevala, onlyness, only. Buddha was helped into this Kaivalya by Mahavira, Swami Mahavira, the 24th Tirthankar of the joints. But there the purification was very penance-full. So Buddha had a difference of opinion about it. He was finding the more balance, not to extremes of penance and self-torture. So he moved on in his own journey more. But he attained Kaivalya with Mahavira in Nalanda. That is why later Nalanda was chosen to be the Buddhist university site. If you go to Nalanda, go to birthplace of Mahavira Swami next to Nalanda. It's only Nalanda in a village. And then you will see the seat of Lord Buddha is also there, beside Mahavira's seat. At least that is how they show. So, Gujja Samaja, Tantra came with Kundalini and sectioning your system as the 5 elemental structure. The physical, the neurological or emotional, the psychological or thought structure, the judgmental or analytical judgmental structure, or the deciding structure, and then the structure on the tip of the structure is our ego or our self. So the ideal mind is no mind. If you know such a no mind, then you will know that if you reach the no mind through any process, the process itself will get cleansed. So tantric psychotherapy starts with these archetypes as gods and goddesses. Okay, you want to go into learning, develop your power of learning, practice Manju Ghosha, practice Saraswati. So the practice of Saraswati is the rites and rituals and visualizations and imaginations and purifying the imaginations into that structure that has been made by rishis. Thus, a rishi makes a god. Gods do not make rishis. Rishis makes gods. Previously, one day I've told God is sourcing from a rishi. And each god has a mantra. The mantra is the sound therapy on the nerves. So this just traditionally a guru gives a mantra and you are initiated. I do not accept that. When you will be able to train the disciple how to move the mantra in the channels, in your body, not imagining. It's not an animation. It's not imagining. Those who are my disciples here and those who have worked with me, they know how to work. It's a very detailed know-how. It's natural structure. It's not an artificial organized structure. It's not organized for any ego or out of ego. It's discoveries of the organization of your body mind. This is where I believe in organizing Lalitama. To discover the cosmic organization in you. And thus you work out. How people experience from there, like today Irene Ma told us, there are many more here. Those who have practiced this. So knowing the mind, you have to know your mind first to know anybody's mind. So a patient cured can become a doctor. How to live with the guru is to live basically in the hospital with the psychotherapists. And you have all horror films about it. What do you want? Mika is now laughing and enjoying. Mika found going home also, he is in Baba's hospital. So he gets angry time to time. Why Baba asks us to stop here, stop there? Why he's stopping us? Because you are in non-stop torturing your soul. Cool down. Cool down. Why so much excitement? Why so much fast? You want to live long or die fast? So why so fast everything? Cool down. Cool. Chinima is laughing. Chinima enjoyed it. Isn't it, Chinima? So cool down. So to have a cool down life, you have to work out. It's best to work out with nature than to work out with industrialization. We need food or we need gadgets. What is our first requisite? Healthy food or gadgets? Healthy living style or luxury? Healthy thought process or ego manipulations? What do we need? That is how the guru stops you at every junction where you are wrong. The lifelong counselor. a lifelong psychotherapist. When I went to West, even when I was working in a Western university's teaching ends, I started seeing Tantra as psychotherapy rather than a mysticism, because how I'm dealing with them is only cleansing, going on. When the real journey of samadhi will start, only cleansing takes almost entire life. And then too much of cleansing, Rangama one day will shout at, Baba, what do you think of it? We are also human beings, we need to have a party. Come on, let us have some music and beer. Hari bol, Hari bol. In one of my English Baul songs, I have said that we are suffering in hell. The people who suffer in hell and hungry ghost realms, they need some enjoyment, some recreation. So for them, the recreations are the rites and rituals of Tantra. Have a tantric party. I remember once a person is sitting with me who is a drunkard, full glass of wine in front of him, in all front of us. We are meditating with the wine. So some 1 hour passed in the preliminary of purifying wine and food before the thing starts, and a lot of yogas and mantras carrying on. He said, is this a party? I'm put not to touch the glass with a full glass of alcohol for 1 hour. So that is tantric partying. Tantra teaches you perfection in every aspect of life when the mind is clean. First, this cleansing of body, mind, and spirit is everything. Once the soul is cleansed, the soul is pure mind. The pure mind is natural. You have conditioned the pure mind. Like there are many psychotherapists who will show you a movie, and from there you will know what is the message for you. Similarly, tantric psychotherapists, gurus give you a deity, a story of the deity. That story, that deity, the mantra of that deity will dig out your graves of your past and past lives even, and show you your structure of habituation and take you to the pure mind state. So this is the story of tantric psychotherapy. So then Gujja Samaji describes the 5 elements. This is a stupa. The stupa base is a square. So square is the art with its 4 sides, and 4 Buddhas are sitting on 4 sides. So each Buddha is with a mudra or a gesture of his hands, which will say what he represents. And these 5 Buddhas are representing the 5 elements of physical, emotional, or neurological, Indians call it vital, psychological, judgmental, and final, non-self identity, which is identity of no identities. So this is the structure of Gujja Samaj. And what is the psychotherapy? That one after another, demonesses are coming and hurting you. What are the demonesses? aspects of life and its desires. And negativity is poisons coming out of it. From the desire of being best, the physical poison emitted is jealousy and competitiveness. By the practice of the yellow Buddha, the yellow Shiva, golden Shiva, Pashupati, you can tame your animal mind, which is connected to your gross body, and go into a better state, a better self-respect for you. You don't have to use your body as a hanger of clothes. That clothes are your identity now. Your skin and flesh is not your identity. Your identity is you are a human being. Start with that. To respect the body is to bring restraint to the body also. So from there you go to mind, you go to your prana, purify your breath system, cleanse the 6 chakras. In the 7th chakra, when you have reached, you are already into reaching the state of pure mind. Chittamatrata. So a bodhisattva's journey starts from the skull, from the third eye above. That is why all these tantric deities are holding a skull bowl. They are holding a skull bowl always like this. And the Vajra in the right hand. The skull bowl is the brain practice, and the Vajra is the pulsation. So those who are conducting the brain pulsations, they hold the skull bowls. In Shakta tradition, the same practice is called Kapalika. Is somebody talking? Okay. Now, these 5 elements are fighting with each other. Your physical identity many a times does not agree with your emotional identities, and you have to go to the psychologist or psychotherapist because you are emotionally feeling guilty or a low self-esteem by allowing the desires of your body. So the body self and the emotional self may not agree with each other. Yeah. Then your emotions may not agree with your thoughts, and your thoughts may not agree with your emotions, and your thoughts may not agree with your judgments, or the judgment won't agree with your emotions, or agree with your thoughts, or agree with your body. Thus, you are becoming multipolar character. Bipolar is a very healthy state. Most of the people are multipolars. They use different identities because they're split inside them. So this psychotherapy is this Kulavadhuta Tantra process, how to bring all the 5 elements in us together and have one identity. And then the question will come, how do you like yourself? You like many, you dislike many. How do you like yourself? So it is facing the mirror. Face yourself. It's time to face yourself. That is the sadhana. So it's knowing your own mind, knowing your own troubles within yourself. And you can cleanse them all because diagnosis is not everything. More than that is the cure. And the cure are through the yogic techniques and meditations. Rangama, are you understanding it? Unmute yourself.
I'm here, Baba, and sorry, I put my mind on something else for a moment.
So you didn't hear for a moment, otherwise you heard.
Yes, Baba.
I'm not talking for a moment. I'm talking from 10 o'clock. Now it is 12:12.
Ah, Baba.
Not a good student.
Not a good student. Bad student.
Where is the concentration?
Okay, I'm back.
You're back from where? In Abhidhamma Kosha, Buddha is saying that even mind can be so delusive that even about after experiencing a samadhi, you may not realize what you have experienced, because there will also doubt and restlessness disturb you. So that what you will understand, just by attaining a samadhi one day is not enough. You have to go on regularly practicing samadhi. From practicing samadhi, the ideal tantric yogi's life has started. Prior to that, it's cleansing. Just imagine this. Okay, then take it easy. 2 hours have passed, discussing a lot of things. Today, I do not know, I have to see the chat whether there are questions for me.
If you have time, Baba, how would you define a state of psychosis in your language when we talk about psychosis?
Okay. I will say. Yes. Yes, Satpuram, you are right. Being a human is a very difficult task. To become a god is easier. True, absolutely. Acha, Joy has written, I never broke anything. It was all heart. Jay is writing. It's Jay saying, I only throw unbreakable objects. So when he's angry, like, see what a yoga development. When he's angry, now he starts finding which object, if I throw, will not break, but I will throw. Now he's laughing. So see how much developed he has become a yogi. That during high anger, he can just start searching the unbreakable things to throw. What did Irene ask the question again? Tell me, Irene.
Yes, so my question was, how do you define your way a state of psychosis where you know what psychosis is, so I don't have to go through.
Psychosis is a self-conflicted mind. Where one mind has gone to an extreme and the other part of the mind, which is concerned about the good being of yourself, is highly insecure. Or some highly insecurity has taken a person into a fit of action or a fit of thought. That is psychosis, according to my understanding. Are you clear about it? You can ask counter questions to clarify. Then I will also understand in which way you are trying to understand.
It opened some answers in me about the fear and everything, like how, but I've experienced it once in my life, and it's kind of like where you are in a way not in charge of the car, you know, it's like, or you believe things that aren't necessarily there. But I understood what you said, and I'm just thinking, like, through meditation and breathing, is there a way to, once you find that when you're not in remission anymore and you feel that you're starting to shake, that what should I do?
Okay, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
The moment you feel that you are facing a psychosis, anybody, just sit down, take a long breath, breathe out, and then concentrate on your own mind, on the trouble you are having. Don't try to forget the trouble. Concentrate on the trouble. Whenever you will concentrate on the trouble, in the shaking, twitching of the body, some parts will be more prominent than other parts of the body. Which parts are affected by the psychosis? Go on breathing out long breaths, like brushing breath. You go on, keeping on, concentrating on the negative. That is the fear. So concentrate on your psychological issue that you are recognizing, and breathe out from the chakras, whichever chakra is pulsating high.
Thank you, Baba.
That is what the start. But suppose your left hand is twitching, then you breathe out your left hand. And more you breathe out, what happens when we are shocked, hurt, afraid, depressed? This flow of nerves do not remain equal. So which chakra it is handling? If it is handling your sexuality, it is in, and creativity, a controversy in that world, it is in Sadhisthana. It is, you are disturbed in your breaking of the routine of your rest and action, overwork or no work, you can get disbalanced. If you
100%.
If you are, that is in Muladhara or the perineal plexus, and then the navel plexus is working with any kind of contentment and discontentment. See how the navel works. When people go to obesity, why they go to obesity? Out of depression. So depression has its own self-defense mechanism in our body mind. It increases hunger or makes you feel happy with food, because something that you need to sense strongly, because you are in head. If you are too much in the head, you need to come down to your senses. So you will like to eat. Some people carry on eating and go to obesity due to this. Okay. Then in Anahat is the love and hatred. If any connection with love and hatred, your psychosis has come up, that the guru will help you to take there, the tantric psychotherapies, take deeper and deeper into the layers of your memories and find out from where this fear has come. How do you recognize this? How to visualize a psychosis, and where from there the memories flush out. So focusing on that memory, you will breathe out. Achha. Is this Mika writing? Mika Ganesh is writing. If you could, please explain how it feels in samadhi, difference between sleep and samadhi. There is no difference between sleep and samadhi. The other day I told you, Until and unless you experience it, you will not know. And you will only know samadhi by slowing the process of samadhi. How you getting, entering the field of samadhi and how you coming back. Exactly. If you slow down your sleep consciously, it will be a deep sleep, but awakened deep sleep called yoga nidra. It's like that. What to do when the heart starts beating really fast and the mind starts panicking about it during practice? Then take long breaths and long inhales and exhales. 4 to 5 you take, you will get okay. Priyanka is asking any similarities between dimension and samadhi. Yes, somewhere there is a similarity, ma. Like you have made a tattoo in your hand. Yes, yoga nidra is close to samadhi. And you want to get rid of the tattoo, then you have to do a skin grafting. Like scrub out, like with a sandpaper, a layer of skin that it has taken. Exactly like that, you cleanse your brain. That is a true brainwash. I remember Lolita Ma is already enjoying. Lolita Ma enjoys these ends very much. I also like to enjoy this, but all the time I cannot enjoy this because others put me into serious talks. Sometimes the disciples' family accused me of brainwashing the disciple. I said, of course. You made it unclean, I'm washing it. He has come to me to get his brain washed. If he remembers how much you have poisoned or made his brain dirty, he will not remain a good human being. He will be in asylum, suffering it. So I'm really brainwashing. You're absolutely right. Thank you that you have realized it. So Guru always brainwashes the disciple after some time. So you can call it, Priyanka, a kind of dementia. It's not dementia. It's not, your memory is eroded out without your knowledge, or it is a disease.
Right, Baba.
It is basically you consciously erode out the memory because it's so more important to you, and you can now throw it to the garbage.
Right.
So that is it.
Right.
What you don't want to remember, you have to resolve. You are again and again remembering it, and it is becoming a deeper and deeper memory of pain and suffering because you have not resolved it, because there is something connected to you that you are not happy with. So how you can be happy even with it is you have to look into it. This is looking into yourself. This is a process. More you look into it in the meditation, more pictures surface out. More pictures surface out to you, more you recognize, oh my God, this was what was happening to me. Yes, this was what happening to me. Yes, I misinterpreted it. Or somebody else I talked with misinterpreted it to me like that. So if you want to say to get rid of bad memories is dementia, okay. Agreed. Do you want to brainwash? Like
I don't
clothes
mind, Baba,
washing,
being brainwashed by you.
house
I would
whitewashing,
love to be brainwashed.
car wash, and then brain. Okay.
Yes, Baba.
Get ready.
Reprogramming.
When I will start washing your bed, you know what to do.
Yes, Baba, please do. Adesh.
Adesh, 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 Adesh. Any more question from anybody? Okay. Orko, you are there or not?
Yes, Baba.
Do you have any question? Only on the subject we talked today.
Yeah, it was relatable to me, and I took the instruction of the things you said regarding saturating the memories.
Will I discuss with you a little bit in my process of teasing?
No, no, no,
Acha.
please. Baba.
Orko is a high practitioner, tantric practitioner. He has gone to very deep stations, very deep stations. But only problem is he thinks he's getting unclean. His cleanliness is so high that he takes bath for 2 hours and then sits on his bed and doesn't touch anything else around. Even wearing dresses can be feeling him unclean, so he stays naked. And he has a beautiful girlfriend too. But when he comes here and stays with me, those qualities are not there with him. When he go home, he gets these qualities. Because his mother also have the same problem. So you can see he's a very observant psychic. Observant psychics are like mediums. They stay near people and pick up their troubles in them. Actually, this is how it happened. But when he comes to me, no problem. He stayed here, no problem. He has no sense of touchability working then. But he goes, he's home, bas, done. But I think it is a perfection to be like that, is to be an example before his mother. So his mother says, no, I am not so mad like my son. But when he comes to me, he's okay, no problem. These are called Brahminical psychosis. He's not a Brahmin, but he has come through other Brahmin gurus. There's a Brahminical psychosis in him. He's getting dirty. Achha. So, Orko, you have anything else to discuss? You have quite seriously taken the teasing I saw. You never smiled.
No, so, Baba, actually, I didn't think it's in that way. I'm having a network issue.
Okay.
And also, I am having dinner in the other hand. So,
okay, then you have transcended. Now you have transcended your psychosis.
No, I have a long way to go. That's what I find.
Okay, then I am the body or I am not the body. Of course, you are the body. Your first existence is you are the body. But if you are only the body, then I cannot call you a dead body, isn't it? There are bodies in the graves and the laboratories too. You are a living body. So because you are a living body, so you have a prana attached to it. So you are not just body. You are not body. You are somebody connected to prana. And because it's connected to prana and you are not imbecile, you are also your mind. So you are of course your body, But not only body, you are your prana as well as your mind too. And if you have a mind, of course, you have taken judgments time to time. So you know what is judgment. So then that faculty is also you. You are not only your body, but of course you are your body, you are your prana, you are your mind, and you are your judgment. So who are you?
I know I'm both now,
Yeah,
but I found that to be the big difference between Western and Eastern psychotherapies.
yeah.
Was Western brought me into my body as an Eastern had told me my whole life I'm not my body.
No, it's not true.
Difference in therapy.
It's very wrong. You are, of course, your body. Because
came to
all
that.
your troubles, that is what I'm explaining. Even the chakras in the Chandali Nadi are holding your karmas. I will show you an example. I'm working with a young girl now. She's a bit freaked out with Western feminist teachings and leading a modern, postmodern life. And she is doing a bath meditation under Ma. You can see this hand. Can you see this black spot here?
Yes.
See the right hand now? See in the same place.
Yes.
A little here and there. So the two hands like this. Here
Wow.
and here. And from here, skins are peeling off because she's releasing toxins through her hands in the process. Just I have worked with her 14 days. She had psychosis. So she's having meditation therapy and mantra therapy both. So this is an example that how it comes, how your chakras are holding a lot of toxins that you have created in activating wrongly your chakras, or better to say, taking wrong actions in your life that didn't allow, that your body didn't allow it. And thus there is a hidden disease, which is psychosomatic, which can be mind to body or body to mind, both. One of my yogi friends, I will not name, suddenly started saying that he has got affected by witchcraft. He's hearing people talking at night in his room. He's seeing people or talking to people, and he's feeling sick, lethargic, shaking, all these things. I told him, I saw him. I told him, you have got no witchcraft. What it has happened is, you have worked your hatha yoga too high, and your brain is, because the brain burns, the minerals, there are deficiency of potassium, mercury, and phosphorus in your brain, which is also deficiency of vitamin B16. He didn't believe it. He went to the ashram, and from ashram, they suggested a yoga ashram, suggested him to the hospital. It was found vitamin B16, B12 deficiency in a high percentage, and exactly the minerals I said is burnt out. It was done, he was okay. So that all the time, it's not also black art or black magic affecting you. It can be your mind too. This is very important for a tantric or psychotherapist to decide whether it's a case of psychotherapy or it's a case of exorcism. Exorcism is also a psychotherapy. Now Chinima is laughing. Why? The other day Chinima did the big exorcism. Okay, that day's lecture has been put up when we had a lot of ghosts and goblins here. They were stopping us to talk or communicate. Has all been put into the YouTube. In my timeline, you will feel the link. You will find the link if you want to see 14th July's discussion. These are all done by Chinima, Chini Baba. But we call them Chinis. They're not from China. Chini means sweet in Bengali, but they are Chinmoy and Chinmoy. It's short Chinis. Isn't it good? Like many of my disciples don't even call me Baba, calls me Bab. Calls me Bab or Babs. Just think like that. I have a son and disciple, Hunkannath. He will call me Caps. That means Kappa Baba, short from Caps. And you can see Mika, everybody can enjoy how much he's enjoying an ice cream. Is ice cream a lollipop?
Ice cream. You said I need to cool down.
Yeah. See what extension of psychotherapy goes on. Hari bol, Hari bol.
Baba, I have a question.
Yes, ma.
Okay, in my experience,
Yes.
doing self-psychotherapy and psychotherapy under your guidance,
Yes.
I found that in order to receive your grace of the psychotherapy work that you were doing with me, I needed to do my own self-psychotherapy.
Yeah.
So, and it was more than just breathing and doing the yogas. There was
That is self-counseling also.
yeah, self-counseling.
Yeah.
And then in our Western world and in the way that I was brought up, very secularly, there was not a precedent for virtuousness, like
Yes.
pure virtuousness. So I had
That is what I said, that every character is a different and original character. That is the start of Western psychology. And in our psychological therapy, it is that is an ideal self in you, which is the image of God in you. And first you have to clean still that. The moment you experience that, you will become a self-healer.
yes, that's exactly what I experienced.
See, but this Carl Jung has also given the same practice. We call samadhi, he called collective unconscious. He has given 12 archetypes, so much like the 12 months of Earth rotating around the sun. Those effects are his archetypes. So he has not allowed perversion to be a norm or normal. Because if you accept perversion as normal, then of course you see in these cultures where Freudian theory is spread among people, how much more psychological errors are there. You will know by that. Go to a psychological clinic and see how much crowd is waiting there. And how many psychotherapy, psychologies, but psychological clinics are there around you. It's all because of wrong teaching. Western feminism has been the root cause of women's psychological errors in modern times. Even men's errors thereby. Because what is said to be in our psychotherapy that contesting or jealousy, from jealousy comes competitiveness or contesting. That is a virtue in Western psychology. Now you are strong, contested. I will say, no, you're not fine. Cool down, baby. You're not fine. Cool down. Don't go to contest. Whom you are contesting with? Who is your enemy? It's in your mind. If there is any practical enmity, try to avoid that person. Why you are suffering psychologically? If somebody did wrong to you, that somebody is not suffering, you are suffering. Why you are carrying others' baggage? So the root cause is in your jealousy, in your contest, in your competition. See, one poison can give so many ends, and the psychotherapy is watch your competitiveness. If you remember, this was the last work I was doing with you when you were here. Do you know why, Ma? Because so long you have your poisons, how a crystal child will come to yourself?
Yeah.
You are putting to your child your RNA and DNA that needs to be cleansed. Otherwise, why you ask for a crystal child? So the crystal child will not find it easy to come into you until and unless you cleanse your body-mind temple for getting a deity manifesting in you as your child. It's a big work. But the moment it happened, I told you, the day you will become the mother, that is the day you have accomplished in your white robe.
Baba, I can trace day to day from the moment of conception back, that whole process of cleansing.
Write it down. It will be a great guidebook to all pregnant mothers. Your experiences, your techniques of handling your mind, your visions, visualizations, your life. Write becoming a mother. Write a text on it.
Okay.
Most of our Buddhist texts of Tantra are Ma, yogis and yoginis' diaries. Sahaja Yogini Chinta's great text is a diary. Those who are higher practitioners keep diaries. We cannot remember everything. Your know-hows will keep you looking into it, investigating on it, curiosity, resolution on it, and how you have resolved, how things have changed in your mind, your conception, in yourself. That record may help many people. So for the good of the world, will of the world, you should write it down. And I want to see a book coming out from it that your daughter will read, Becoming a Mother. If practitioners, you do not come out with your experiences of reality and tell people your stories, how do you think you can help people? You can only help people by your righteous life and stories of your life, of your cleansing, of your structures changing to where you are reaching in the glory of the self. Not glory of ego, glory of the self. It's very important.
It is.
Okay, you write it. I was about to tell you to write it. That whole day I thought you should write it. We should read these pages of experience of a mother becoming a mother and how she has already got the techniques, how to see the baby growing inside her by locating the baby's on the pulsation and what it is doing in her own body and mind. What do you think, Lolita Ma? Won't it be a good book for all mothers? What do you think, Maitreya Ma, Rangama?
Ha, Baba.
From there, a lot of psychotherapy for pregnant women or helping the pregnant woman to remain in a blissful state, get rid of any bad thoughts or bad feelings or psychosis, anything coming in the way to make the baby get the best of you. ঠিক আছে. Any other question? It's very good, Ma. You have to write it. You promised me. Remember. Right. So, all friends, all my beloveds, today I end up here. I'm feeling a bit tired now. Shambhu Adesh, Aghora Adesh, Avadhut Adesh, Alakh Niranjan, Boom, 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 Har Har Mahakal.